Alright, y'all, we here, and the final team that will be getting its own video about its outlook for next season is the defending Western Conference champion Dallas Mavericks. Now, Dallas is a team that made the finals last year, obviously, but they were very outclassed by the Celtics. To most people, that was pretty obvious, especially considering the fact that they scored, under 100 points in like 4 or 3 of the 5 games, and in like 2 of them, they were under 90. Yes, I know in the final game, in the closeout game, they were under 90. I don't know, in 2024, under 90 points. In 2024, under 100 points multiple times in the finals. It's not great. It's not great. But I would say the Mavs got slightly better this offseason. They added Klay Thompson. They added Najee Marshall. Najee Marshall's one of those guys that's going to kind of be one of those wing players for you, especially because you lost Derrick Jones Jr., who was a key piece to their defense. He's now a Clipper, and he's one of those guys that's like he's going to be like just a force, like kind of one of those guys that's like kind of an enforcer. I wouldn't say like an enforcer, but he's just going to be a big body guy that you have on your piece that's also very good at basketball, and you kind of need that. They also have the best backcourt in the league, in my opinion, with, I think, in most people's opinion, like not just in my opinion, but in most people's opinion, with Luka and Kyrie, who is, to me, with the duo of Luka and Kyrie, and to me, Luka is at worst the third best player on the planet. To some people, the second or first best player on the planet. Luka Doncic, to me, he's the third best, but if you have him anywhere below third best player on the planet, I think you're tripping. If you want to say Joel Embiid's better than him, I think you're tripping. And as you can tell by now, I always value those guys who are at the very top of the league, who are the very best players in the world. I always value those guys more than anything else, and I always respect their chances to make it to or win the finals, especially if they've done it before and if they have help or like similar help to what they've done when they've done it before. And Dallas is an interesting team to me because I honestly never would have picked them to make the finals or even the conference finals last year. I picked them to well, did I? No, I think I picked OKC to beat them. I'm pretty sure I picked OKC to beat Dallas last year, so I'm dumb. Or I don't think I picked them to lose to the Clippers. I don't think I did that. I'm pretty sure I picked them to lose to OKC. So they shocked me last year, and then now they have better shooting and better offense overall with Klay Thompson, who's going to probably play that 3 spot if I had to guess. I don't think they're going to bring him off the bench and start Najee Marshall. I think they're going to play him at that 3 spot, which they desperately needed. But they also had a very, very good defense last year, especially in the second half after trading for guys like Daniel Gafford and everything like that. But that got worse with the loss of Derrick Jones Jr. But on the positive side, I expect Derek Lively to be even better, which would be impressive considering how good he was, especially in the playoffs last year. Like, Derek Lively was one of those guys that had a very good season for them last year as a rookie, and then had very few rookie moments in the playoffs. Like, sure, he had some. Like, I think it was in the game 1 versus Boston in the finals where he had that first game where I was like, yeah, okay, now he looks like a rookie. But, like, throughout that whole playoff run, he looked very, very good. And I think he should be starting over Daniel Gafford, maybe going through this season, but I don't know. Like, they're probably gonna get about in the equal minutes. And there was times last year where like Derek Lively didn't start, but he ended up getting more minutes in the playoffs than Daniel Gafford in some games, especially depending on the matchups and stuff. So like, you know what I'm saying? I expect him to be better. And Dallas will still be able to get that energy and those easy points from those lobs while continuing to be a dominant pick and roll team because that's simply what Luka does. So as Luka's the best pick and roll player on the planet, so obviously the Mavs are going to take advantage of that. At least I would hope they continue to do that. But we have to remember, Kyrie was basically a no-show in the finals. So if that's better this year, which I think I expect it to be, just because it's Kyrie Irving, we know that he can show up in the biggest stage. He's done it before in his career. Then the team and the offense will be better in particular and will be more unstoppable and even more. It'll just be better and more unstoppable, in my opinion. The offense will. And also, you got Klay Thompson, who, like, yeah, he's coming off a down year, but his down year was shooting 39% from 3 and still averaging, like, 17 points. Yes, I know he shot Overton in an elimination game. Trust me, I watched that whole game, and I was my heart was damn near jumping out of my chest the whole time because I was so mad that he was doing that badly and Steph had no help. There was really triple teaming Steph, bro. Don't even get me started on that. I'm such a Steph Curry fan. Please don't even get me started on that. But, yeah, it's like, I don't know, like maybe the situation with the Warriors last year was kind of just toxic with Klay and the whole contract negotiation thing the whole year. It didn't have to be because he could have just accepted the contract extension they offered him in the beginning of the season, where he would have been making more money then than he's making now. But I digress. It's just like the whole thing was toxic. It was like the relationship was toxic ever since Draymond punched Jordan Poole. Things have been weird with the Warriors, so it's like maybe a change of scenery will help him. Now I think the number is insane. What is he wearing, like 31? I think that is crazy. Y'all gotta change that. But maybe that'll help him, and we gotta see what it's gonna look like on paper, on court. I mean, we gotta see what it's gonna look like on court because on paper, sure the offense is better, sure the shooting is better, and he's gonna be able to get more open looks probably. Or I mean, if Klay's not getting more open looks, then Luka and Kyrie will be. It's like you can't leave any of those 3 guys open. So it's like there's gonna be more. It's going to be a more unstoppable offense. It's like you can't switch off of anybody. Like if you do, it's going to be PJ Washington, who we saw versus OKC in the playoffs, can hit those corner threes, can hit some threes. Now, Those wing threes, nobody on the team's hitting those except for Luka, Kyrie, and Clay. Let me tell you right now, those the wing slash top of the key threes, literally no one else is going to hit those except for those guys. But, like, hey, at least you got those guys to hit them now. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Clay now. But it's like those three guys you literally cannot help off of at all. Maybe Derek Lively can get a little better with like shooting outside the paint. Like maybe he can develop more of a mid-range and develop more of a three-point shot as well, which would help this team and would just also continue to make them more unguardable. But the big worry for Dallas to me is the defense, bro, because like the wing defense has been such a big thing as we've seen in the playoffs these last few years. We saw it with Wiggins, who helped the Warriors. We saw it with Bruce Brown and KCP, who helped the Nuggets. We saw it with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and those guys. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who helped the Celtics, right? Because those guys not only were playing great defense, they were also some of the best two-way players in the league. But like the defense was a big part of that. Jaylen Brown being on Luka, big part of that. You understand what I'm saying? Like Jason Tatum being able to guard the bigs while also being able to switch onto Luka. Big part of that, you know what I'm saying? And be length on Kyrie, where they have Kristaps Porzingis on the back end to get all the blocks and to guard the paint. Very big thing, you know what I'm saying? But I just think the offense is gonna be significantly better, but I think the defense is gonna be a good amount worse. Now they kept most of their pieces, but I think losing Derrick Jones Jr., who was your main wing defender and who offered you length and athleticism, is tough, especially as he was one of those top lob threats on the team as well. Like he's a freak athlete. I think we all know that. But I don't know. Like, Dallas is a very good team, and they are the defending Western Conference champs, but on paper, I still like Minnesota and OKC more. Now, I'm not sure if I would choose OKC or Dallas if they matched up in the playoffs right now. We'd have to see how both teams look on court because both teams have some new additions and lost some guys. Not lost some guys, but for OKC, traded a guy. But, like, it's just that Dallas has proven it, that they can make that deep playoff run where OKC hasn't, right? Like, Dallas has been to the conference finals in 22 in a West where the West was worse, but nobody expected Dallas to make it. And then Dallas also made it to the finals last year where the West was extremely strong and nobody expected Dallas to make it. And guess what they did? They made it. So it's like, we have to give Dallas the benefit of the doubt because they've done this before. So we have to automatically just throw everything else out. Not throw everything else out the window, but we automatically have to take everything else with a grain of salt just because we've seen them do this before in a stacked Western Conference. So it's like, why couldn't they do it again? But I just think that Minnesota and OKC are better teams, at least on paper. Now, do I think those things will happen on court as well? Yes, but we have yet to see it, so we're not sure 100%. But with all that said, Dallas' best realistic outcome for this season is making it to the finals. Like, this is a team that I said, we've seen them do it before. Last year in the Deep West Conference, we've seen what Luka Doncic can do not only in the regular season but in the playoffs. So I think it's not out of the picture to say that, hey, this team could have Luka Doncic be the MVP, could be one of the top three seeds in the West, could make it to the finals yet again. And I don't think they have enough to win the finals, especially if they go against a team like Boston, again, because they did lose a lot of that wing defense. And I think Boston has the guys that can guard the shooters like Clay, because it's like you have Jrue Holiday, who you can put on Clay. You have Derek White, who you can put on Kyrie. Or you have Jrue Holiday, you can put on Kyrie. You have Derek White, you can put on Clay. And then you can put Jaylen Brown on Luka again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they have the matchups that fit. Boston does. If both teams are fully healthy, Boston has the matchup advantage to me. So I don't think they have enough to win the finals because I do see Boston. Like you've seen in every video I've talked about where I haven't picked teams to win the finals because I think Boston is just that team. So I'm not going to pick this team to win the finals. I'm not going to say their best realistic outcome is winning the finals because I think with teams like Minnesota, where if they go up against Boston, I think their chance is realistically better to beat Boston than it is for Dallas. But even though, Dallas has the better player with Luka Doncic, I know, but I think Minnesota has the better team for the matchup versus a team like Boston and New York, where Dallas just doesn't have that same matchup advantage. Or not advantage, but just the matchup, like, similarity. Like, they don't have the matchups that I think can really run with those guys than Boston and New York. Like I think OKC does with their wing defenders and just their defense overall, and like the way I think Minnesota does with their wing defenders and just their defense overall. But we'll see, man. So yeah, Dallas' best realistic outcome is winning the West again, winning the West for the second time, back-to-back years. We'll see. It's going to be a fun NBA season. There's been a lot of movement. I think the draft was interesting. I think the draft was pretty. The top of the draft wasn't like what we think it's going to be for next year, but I think there were some good teams who got better in the draft. So, yeah, we'll see going into this year, man. But let me know what y'all want to see for tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. So let me know what y'all want to see. I'm open to suggestions, and let me know what y'all want to see for my little intro saying. All right? Love y'all. Thank you for watching.